What is happening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GKDR, episode 60, to be exact. I am your host this evening. Oh, it's also Tuesday. It's Tuesday at the time of this recording,
Yes.
April 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're curious as to how old this news and these reviews is, I'm your host this evening, Garrick B. Eaton, and I actually haven't done that yet because I have to take a stupid fucking medicine before I do any of that because existence is pain. And I am also joined by not my usual co-host, but he's been showing up around a lot recently, the Ocean Shrine.
That's right,
the
sir.
Shark Father himself.
Good day, sir.
Ernell Pearson, how are you?
Sir? I am good, brother. I am good. I mean, it's the beginning of my work week. Like, I'm kind of coming into it a little bit.
Well, yeah, Tuesday's your Monday.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start. I did get off work early today. I had to go pick up my daughter from school today because we didn't want to screw up the schedules on anybody and asking someone to go pick her up for us. So I went and picked her up myself and got home and just chillax, made some grilled cheese sandwiches, my friend. Grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup.
Wait, hold on. Did your kid get in trouble?
No. We typically so Marilyn usually.
I was like, did she? I was like, did she make a whoopsie?
No, not yet. We haven't quite gotten to that age yet. She's actually like pretty much an angel at the school. Like I've never had a teacher like complain about her ever.
That's fair.
Marilyn usually picks her up on Tuesdays, but Marilyn's schedule got like switched around.
It was just a schedule conflict. So rather than inconvenience somebody else, like I'll do it.
So my boss let me jump out a couple hours early today so I could go pick up my daughter from school. So
because even grumpy conservatives want you to take care of your kids.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He cares about family. That's what they like to say. They care about family.
Yeah, exactly.
Family values, if you will. And valuing family is a part of family values, I guess.
Weird, right?
You would have thought, dude.
There's a connection there.
Let me hop on out of there. Got home, made some grilled cheese, ate some dinner, watched some below deck sailing yacht, and ate some delicious food.
Dude, you and your fucking reality TV shows,
dude.
man.
Here's the thing.
You're keeping that genre afloat.
Here's the thing, dude. Sometimes because my life is so just fine. Like it's so peaceful. Like my life is pretty.
You need a little drama.
I need everybody else's, and it feeds this part of me that is Polynesian. That
I was gonna be like, you sugarcoat it as anything other than an islander wanting tea or hell. Don't you fucking
listen, don't. Man, if there's anything that an islander loves, it is other people's tea. Brother, I will sit here and eat oranges.
Cup ass to the wall.
Yeah, brother, I'll tell you what, man. Nothing tickles my pickle the way that seeing other people make a fucking scene. It does, my man. I'll tell you what, because I'm just over here like, oh fuck, you gonna let that happen, bro? You can take that shit? You can take that from a civilian? And they're like, no, fuck no, I'm not gonna take that. I'm like, oh, that's crazy, dude. I'm just like eating my oranges, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do that work all the fucking time.
Eating your fucking eating your Panda Express.
Like an islander because we're scooping it up like this, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And it'll be the 50-50 rice and chow mein with honey walnut shrimp. And and maybe mushroom chicken, but if not mushroom chicken, then we opt for the orange chicken, yeah, for sure. And we're just scooping that bitch, like cavemen, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, dude.
Gotta protect the plate, Garrick.
Fucking ridiculous. But hey, we're not talking about Panda Express anymore this evening, but we are going to be talking about the folks. They be sundered, not the 32 expeditions before.
Nope.
And much more, because this is Good Kraken's Death Ratio, where we are slashing through the podcast space to be your source for all the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions you want to hear each and every week. If you want to get out of the curve, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/GoodKrakenPods, where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services, wherever you like to watch and or listen.
That's right, baby.
You can also help us level up our game by joining our GK community on our Discord channel by clicking the link in our description section below, then subscribing to our podcast channel by searching for Death Ratio and leaving us a review there.
Review.
Ernell.
Oh, good sir, Garrick. Yes, yes, yes.
We have some critical hits. Hold on.
we do.
I'm gonna do the thing. The thing. Do I have the sound? Yeah, I do.
I'm pretty sure. There we go.
Yeah,
the critical hit sound.
I got the critical hit sound.
Attaboy.
So we got some critical hits. Not a lot, just a few. As always, please go check out goodkraken.com, y'all. We have that website and we got our own domain. It's literally goodkraken.com. We're really proud that we were able to make that happen. We have merch, the latest episodes for you guys, including the latest episode of the podcast is Too Good for Episode Numbers, 20,000 Films Under the Sea. They did their spoiler-free review of Until Dawn.
Listen, man.
Watch. Definitely go watch that episode before you go watch that movie.
Yeah,
okay?
You're gonna need to. You're gonna need to.
Go check out episode 166 of the Shipwreck Show, and of course, episode 12 of our D&D podcast, Songs of the Abyss.
It's here, baby. That's right. Part 2.
Yep, it's
Part 2. Goddamn, feels good.
Yeah. Live stream for GK Pods or no more. If you haven't figured that out yet.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
You know
I don't know what to tell you. This is the last time I'm going to be reminding you guys that this is not a thing that we're doing any longer.
Last week.
I'm only going to bug you about it for one month.
Yep.
And that was the month of April.
You guys got 2 months of this.
You're not going to hear
2 months to figure this out.
You ain't going to hear about it no more. But as a reminder, we will be coming back for gameplay and live special events such as Summer Game Fest and as always, the end of the year Game Award ceremony. So we're all about that. And yeah, that's the good stuff. We'll be back. Honestly, if I can, one of the things we're going to be talking about this evening, I really want to do a stream for somehow. We have to find a way. Or no, fucking control yourself.
A what? You want to do a what?
I want to do a gameplay stream for Sunderfolk real bad.
Oh yeah, dude. So we're gonna talk about it in a second. But
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I'm jumping the shark a little bit here. Ernell's the shark. I'm gonna jump him. That's what I'm saying.
Don't jump the shark before you get the whale. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Ernell, will you please tell the folks at home what we are going to be discussing next this evening?
Yeah, sir. By the way, I almost said ride the whale, but that's fine. Well, okay. Don't jump the shark.
Whatever.
Before you suck off the
I would have
whale,
accepted it.
Yeah,
before you suck off the whale. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Be courteous.
Exactly. Be nice. You know what I mean? Be nice. Garrick, we're going into the line of sight.
Dude, we're dialing in the scope. We're calculating for bullet drop, and we're putting you in our line of sight.
We are clicking your head. That's what we're doing.
But what we want to put in your guys' line of sight is the latest video games coming up, y'all. That's what we want to do. That's right. And we're just we're not going to be getting too heavy into it, but we are absolutely going to be telling y'all what's coming up in the next week or so.
I cannot
specifically, we'll be talking about April 29th, the day of this recording, up through May 5th. I am going to scroll. I will say, I do want them to re-implement the thing on Game Informer where it lets you select the month from the top. The current version of the website does not have that.
Really? Okay.
I miss it. Yeah, Game Informer, bring it back. I know.
Come on, guys.
Please. I don't know why it's not there. It breaks my heart a little bit.
Budget.
But it's okay. I would rather scroll for you than use any other website. So.
That's right.
We do have, starting today, April 29th, Forza Horizon 5, available on PlayStation 5. As well as Fragpunk being released on PlayStation 5 and Series XS, previously only available on PC, available today, April 29th. We also have Mori?
Moroi?
Moroi?
Morai? Yeah, Moray. I'd probably say Moray.
I'm gonna Moray. It's a name I probably that's available on PC, April 30th. Since I butchered the name, I guess I should probably look at what sort of game it is. So I know it. Oh, it's an action game.
Morwa or Moroi might actually be it. Moroi.
I'm actually gonna look up this game.
It's a PC only game. It's a PC only game.
What kind of game is it? What kind of game is
more
it? It's a dark fantasy tale.
more raw, more raw.
Interesting. Anyways, that's available. That's available tomorrow. Folks. MotoGP 25 is going to be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on April 30th. Skin Deep will be available on PC April 30th. Then, rolling right on into May later this week, we have Despelate, which will be available on PlayStation 5, Series XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC May 1st. Free Ride, available on PC May 1st. Peglin, available on PlayStation 5, XS, 4, and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on May 1st. Shotgun Cop Man, okie dokie. That's going to be available. Shotgun Cop and will be available on Switch and PC May 1st.
Holy shit, dude, look at that. That's crazy.
Oh my god.
That looks like what would be Shotgun Cop Man in my brain.
Oh my god. What in the goddamn Flash game bullshit is this gonna be?
Oh, that's incredible, dude.
The art somehow looks exactly like it should for this sort of game.
Exactly.
I don't know how they nailed it, but god damn.
Like if someone said Shotgun Cop Man, the game is coming out, this is what I would have imagined.
It's wow. Drop Duchy will also be available on PC on May 5th.
Drop Dookie.
And that's what we have. Yeah, that's almost what I read it as. I was going to read it as Drop Douchey.
What are the two?
I was just like, wait, that would be the name of a game, would it? And then I had to read it again.
Drop Ducky.
It's Douche. Yeah, that's what's coming out in the next week, folks. Man. In the gaming in the gaming circle. Of course, this does not encompass all of the games. This is just what Game Informer thought was noteworthy for you guys, and we tend to agree with them. If you think there's any other games that are like super awesome that coming out, obviously fucking let us know. Just drop a comment. We will check that shit out. I mean, okay, I probably will. I can't speak for anybody else. I will probably check it out. Right. But yeah, that's what's coming out. And bing, bang, boom. Bingity bing bop boop. We are just moving right along.
Yes, we are.
And Ernell, these are like low key a little bit my favorite episodes. We are doing a double review tonight.
Ooh, you like the double reviews.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right, sir.
I do enjoy a good double review because it means there's a plethora of exceptional games currently available for people to try. And honestly, 2025 has had a plethora of games worthy of people to try. And I'm super excited to talk about the one that I'm reviewing tonight. I know that you're ready to talk about the one that you're reviewing tonight. So I'm just going to roll us into our next segment where I am going to be providing a chapter select review. It's our next segment. We are going into our chapter select. This is our smaller review. I have not completed this game or necessarily gotten enough into it to be able to tell you all of the ins and outs that this game has to offer. But I do have a healthy amount of time on the game clock, about 16 hours, and it's left a great impression. And I just want to get the word out about this game. So this is what this is. It's a first impressions review, not an all-encompassing review.
Sure.
Without further ado, I am going to be reviewing tonight the wonderful new digital board game Sunderfolk. And that is a hell of a fucking title, man. I love it. It's actually a really good title. I love the name Sunderfolk.
It is a good name.
It's a good name. This was developed by Secret Door, a direct subsidiary of the publisher Dreamhaven, which was its own created and operated by former ex-Blizzard devs that just wanted to branch out and do some different things. And this is their very first game ever in Sunderfolk. And they wanted to try and recapture the essence of couch co-op and tabletop RPGs. And goddamn, can I tell you with my whole fucking chest that they succeeded.
Okay.
So, this is a game not like many games you've played, but if you operate in the party game sphere of the world and you like to get big, and you do get-togethers with your friends, and you got real fucking sick of Cards Against Humanity like everybody fucking else, you looked for other shit to do. And for a lot of us, that other shit was Jackbox party games. Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love Jackbox party games, and if you've played those kind of games, you're going to be a little bit more familiar than your average gamer with how Sunderfolk operates, because you do not use a controller to play this game, literally at all. You literally only use the controller to launch the thing from your console, or you only use your keyboard to launch the game on fucking Steam. This does not use and exit the game. That's it. This is for starting and stopping play. Nothing else. It does nothing for you mechanically. Fucking zero. Bagel. Bub kiss. You use a phone for all of your gameplay mechanics. Everything on the TV, on your computer screen, wherever you're streaming it from, that is the main screen of the game. And you do all of your character interactions, whether it be in town of in the town of Sunderfolk. I think it's called Ardvin. In the town of Ardvin, or if you're taking your turn in missions with players. This is first and foremost an attempt to recapture the tabletop RPG experience, similar to games like Dungeons and Dragons and what's the other one that I'm spacing on? Pathfinder. And that sort of games. Yeah, it's like it tries to capture a similar essence to these sorts of games, and it does honestly a fucking incredible job. This is a game that can be played online, but it is first and foremost a couch co-op experience. It is designed to be played with your friends in the same room. It is highly tactical. You are communicating your turns. Of course, all of this can be done remotely, just like you would Jackbox party games, right? You scan the QR code, you get your invite code, and you can participate in the game via somebody else's screen in real time, and it's a fantastic experience. I have played both in-couch co-op and remote play using their remote play guide that Dreamhaven has published, because they understand that this game is a unique experience and a unique way to interact with the game and the player.
Yeah.
Like, this is your character sheet. This is how you take your turns. This is how you look at mission data. This is how you look at your bestiary, your enemies, your passives. Everything takes place on your phone. And the fucking app is immaculate. Yeah? Everything functions exactly as intended. No desyncs from the game. No weird sort of delay. You can literally move your cursor on the touchscreen of your phone, and it will interact in real time with the cursor on the screen. It is so synced and is so refined. This is an indie studio, but make no mistake, they have put everything they had into releasing a solid first game. Or no?
So my first question for you off the cuff is actually two questions kind of wrapped into one. So one, when you say that you're not using your controller, you are strictly using your phone, is controller use optional?
No. You have to use your phone.
Okay,
it is designed to be played in integration with the app. You can't even move your character or interact with anything on the controller. You can literally pause the game, and then once you pause the game, you can leave the game or operate within like the options, the pause menu.
Okay.
But if you are in game, participating in in-game mechanics, it is all done through this phone. Through this phone app, and it's literally just titled Sunderfolk, the same as the game. And honestly, you connect to the game, you select your campaign, you scan your QR codes with your friend, and bing, bang, boom, you just hit the ground running. Now, I spent a lot of time talking about mechanics because this is a unique game. But let's get into the gameplay and what it actually looks like, right? So after you've scanned in, right, bing, bang, boom, you're into the gameplay. You automatically start off in a very, very Dungeons and Dragon like DM driven experience.
Okay.
The narrator or the GM, they literally call them a GM. I won't even say narrator. They're the GM of the game. Narrates and voices all of the characters just like a single DM in Dungeons and Dragons would, a la our daddy mommy here. He does all of the character voices for every NPC, monster, etc. Right? He does all that. They recapture that experience here. She does all of the voices for all of the characters, does fantastic jobs. And of course, where does every D&D campaign begin?
In a tavern, baby. That's right.
In a tavern, baby. You start in a tavern, and you start by picking one of the 6 heroes available to the party. There's no metagaming in this. You can literally just pick and choose whichever class combination you would like for your party. There is available right now at launch a berserker, a pyromancer, a bard, a rogue, a ranger, and an arcanist. So those are your 6 available classes, tapping into the very similar essences that you would find in something like Pathfinder or D&D. I think it leans a little bit more into the Pathfinder choices for classes, but it still fits into like traditional D&D archetypes within your characters. Your berserker is sort of like your tank with lots of health, but not necessarily a ton of damage. And they have ways to protect themselves and other allies. Your ranger has like high mobility and abilities to manipulate the map. Arcanists can buff, and they're a highly complex playstyle, kind of like your what's like a sorcerer would in D&D. Rogues are motherfucking rogues, sneaking and stabbing. Pyromancer is like a niche version of like, something like a warlock. Basically, you motherfuckers just crave the flames and you blast and shit. And bard is a bard. But the bards play a little bit in melee, a little bit in range, and they have a really unique music note mechanic and buff. And they all have synergies and passives and skills that you interact with as you level up these characters. They use milestone leveling, so you just naturally level up once every 2 missions, regardless of what you've done. Mm-hmm. You get and you'll get anything from new skill cards to be able to adjust your character's flavor and build. You get multiple skill cards, and you have a skill deck and a fate deck. Your fate deck is like your RNG of your dice roll in this game. You've got 10 cards that you interact with every time you attack an enemy, and it will draw one of these 10 cards. You have 4 neutral cards that don't affect your roll negatively or positively and can give other bonuses. 3 +1s and then 3 like negative ones, and those kind of act as your crits and your critical misses, modifiers, if you will, in this game. If you run out of those 10 cards during a round, it just reshuffles them back in, and you just keep drawing. So it just keeps the gameplay going. Same thing with your skill deck. You start with 3 slots available. Eventually you get an ultimate. Eventually you get a 4th skill slot. And so you have 4 skills and an ultimate, and you can shuffle around the skills available to you to be able to adapt to the type of mission that you're encountering or the enemies that you may be facing. And this game has a hex grid style combat. It's top down, turn based, a la a board game. You take your turns in turn, but it goes in phases: players, monsters, allies, if there's any applicable for the mission, and then it rolls right back over. Rather than taking an initiative order, though, this game does let you, at the beginning of every round, discuss which player is going to go first.
Okay.
So you can completely rechange the turn order at the beginning of every round. So like if you and I and Devin were playing a campaign, you could go first one round, and then Devin and I could go, or you could go first and then I, and then Devin could go, and you could literally do it in any combination
That's
of
pretty
those
rad.
3 people, right? And so like, and it doesn't lock it in. Like after you choose first, once the next turn becomes available, then Devin and I can discuss who would like to go, and then it will just lock in the third person once they're the only one available.
That's rad. Okay.
Enemies kind of have like have patterns and paths that you can kind of predict when you look at their cards. It'll be like this enemy will move this way and it will like move towards the nearest hero, or like, you know, it will have conditions to kind of help you decide where enemies are going to be moving and who they might interact with and who they might attack each turn. There is like a general rule of thumb where they will attack the closest person first, and if there's individuals the same distance away, they'll attack whoever went first that turn. And of course, there's special conditions and mission parameters that can change who the monsters in the game target, and you have to adjust to that each mission. And this is not just a show up, wipe the board, and be done with it gameplay loop either. There's chapters and acts in each game. The act is in each campaign. The campaign is 3 acts. I'm not entirely sure how many chapters are in each act because I haven't finished it yet. I've only in Act 2 myself in the very beginning of it. I will say as that, I've only finished Act 1, which was fucking awesome. But basically, when you're in town, in between each mission, you sell items, buy new items. You have a limited number of conversations. You can each in between mission, you can talk to 3 NPCs to build rapport with them, and they'll give you gifts. Each player can talk to 3 people individually. It's not a group thing. So like I can talk to 3 players, or you can talk to 3 townsfolk, and it gives you a little bit of freedom of RP to kind of interact with whichever characters you find the most interesting.
Okay.
Along with that, when you set out on your missions from the town, you leave from the gates, and you have a mission limit in each act. Therefore, you cannot complete every single mission in one campaign. It is not possible. To encourage variety and replayability, you and your party will select which missions you would like to undertake up until you hit that mission cap, and then it will give you a focused story mission, which you will progress through until you get to the next set of options. The options consist of anything from a typical explore and battle to puzzling mechanics, or being able to last a certain number of rounds, or being able to escape or rescue a certain number of NPCs under certain conditions. And it really makes it so you have to think and strategize what you are going to be doing and how you're interacting with the game board, the monsters, and the other players.
Like
one really good example is you really have to communicate. All right, I'm going to do this. What if I moved over here and interact with this player, and then I talk to this NPC so that they go over here and they start doing their little mini quest so we can meet their conditions so they'll escape, and you go over here and you target this ogre and you do this thing, and like you really have to sit and like communicate what you're going to be doing each and every round and each and every turn, and it's riveting, dude. It you can see all the pieces fall into place, and you're just having this insane conversation over tactics, and I'm geeking out over it, brother. It's so much fun. One of the most fun missions I've gotten to do so far is there's a mission where some ogres attack the tavern, and you have to ensure that all of the other patrons of the tavern can escape safely. You fail if anybody dies. Spoilers, we failed the first time because we fucked the mission up and somebody died. We had to rechange our tactic, change our skills and our build up, and retry it. And we tried some new tactics, and it played out beautifully, right? But like one tavern patron wouldn't leave until you collected their favorite brew that was scattered throughout the place. Another one wouldn't leave until he defeated the ogre that interrupted his meal because he was pissed about it. Another one wouldn't leave until you just reminded them that they were literally not too afraid to get the fuck out of there, right? So you have to do these various conditions to be able to interact with the game to be successful. This is not a show up, clear the board of all the enemies, you win and move on. It's got variety and depth to how you interact with each and every mission, and it's so much fun because of it.
Okay, yeah, man.
It's got.
I was gonna say I'm definitely interested in the concept of this. I do feel just the slightest bit bummed out that a controller functionality isn't an optional thing, mostly because I think that my kid would really enjoy this, and my kid doesn't have a phone, and so like, you know what I mean.
Do you have like any other sort of tablet or anything in the house?
Yeah. We have a couple tablets.
It would work.
So it works on tablet.
It works on tablets.
Sweet.
When we did our couch co-op session, we had a friend who brought their tablet, installed it on there, and they played with their stylus.
Oh, that's rad. Okay, I can fuck with that.
So yeah, so you don't necessarily, your kid doesn't have to have a phone. They just have to have a device that's app capable.
Okay,
with
that's
either
good to know.
Google
That makes me
or
feel a bit better.
Google or Apple app store availability. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm really glad that you clarify, because there's definitely some accessibility for a younger audience, because one of our other GK folks is actually playing this with their family. Xander baby is playing this with his family, and his kiddo Lydia has been playing with them, and like she's been doing the whole deal from her tablet on the Xbox. And so it's like they're having a great time like with the family experience that way. It does have like a lot of really fun flavors that just kind of set it apart as a unique gaming experience, and one that's very, very worth your time, in my opinion. Like the fact that it somehow completely encapsulates a really, really solid, tight, controlled D&D like one-off campaign, essentially. Like it's very, very cohesive. It feels exactly like you would expect a strong TTRPG campaign to feel, whether it's the narrative, the way the characters are voice acted, the way you interact with the world as a player. It all feels very satisfying. They give you lots of little fun things to interact with the campaign, so that you as a player don't feel completely left out, just as a listener, so to speak. You'll get to name things, all sorts of things, like when you upgrade stuff. Like we named the gates to our town in like Geo and I's campaign. We named it the Sphincter. Like it's just the gates named the Sphincter.
Okay, all right.
The market is Circle K.
That's good. Okay, I like that.
Like just you could also occasionally rename enemies and NPCs. There's this beetle that you meet, and I named him Spud.
That's fitting. I like that for you.
Right? Okay. Like, and then this is the best. This is still probably my favorite one. And Geo did it when he it was the first time we got to rename something, and it was an ogre with a bow, and he was just like Boger, and we stuck with it. And it renames that character type for the whole campaign, and everybody can see it.
Hell yeah.
So now, whenever we go to the tavern and order a drink, we're forced to order a big smelly IPA, because that's what fucking Geo named it.
A big smelly IPA.
There's just a lot of opportunities
so
for
good.
like for like fun interactions with the NPCs and the game world, and the combat has just a ton of depth to it. It really does such an amazing job replicating TTRPG experiences, because there's things that you can do if you were thinking about it in D&D, you could probably do. Like I have like there's the Berserker has like an ability to push and pull other characters, including your allies. So like you can use it to like yank an ally like back out of harm's way, or pick up and throw an enemy off a fucking cliff into a chasm for an instant death. You can grab tables and throw them at enemies to block their path. You know, things like this. Like you have options to change your tactics with each and every mission you have available. And honestly, I can't upsell this game enough. It's something I really truly adore. It is available on PC, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and Switch. I will be honest with you, the community at large has agreed that the Switch is not the way to play,
I
because
would
the
assume.
performance,
Yeah.
the performance and graphics are notably worse on PlayStation 5, Series X, S, and PC. It runs perfectly. The only thing I would like say is a caveat to this game is just be conscious of which platform you choose to purchase it on, with it being a couch co-op game by nature with remote play capabilities. Unless you are streaming something via a cap card, I would say, as much as I love my PlayStation 5, its remote play capabilities are a little bit more limited than, say, Xbox, which can stream gameplay directly to Discord, while PlayStation 5 cannot. So if you want to be able to have like community nights, play with your friends remotely, not just streaming via a cap card or directly from your PC, make a conscious decision on which console you choose to purchase this one on. Or no.
How much is this game, and is it on Game Pass?
This game is not on Game Pass.
Okay.
It is something I could see getting onto Game Pass eventually, just by nature. But this is an indie developer studio, and but they're also ex-Blizzard devs, so they have some experience and some backing behind them. So this is a little bit more expensive of an indie game. This is running at $50, which I do believe is still a very, very fair price for what it offers. You are probably going to play more than one campaign of this if this is a kind of game that you enjoy, and the campaign is like 30 to 40 hours long. So you've definitely got, and of course, with not being able to do every mission and not being able to talk to every NPC and reach max rapport with them by the end of a campaign, there's absolutely some replayability there.
Sweet.
The community is already asking for additional content, procedurally generated maps, and wow, that was a big slip. And I mean, I wouldn't mind some procedure. Anyways,
one could say it was Freudian, if you will.
And new heroes in the future. So I would like to hope that we see some continued support for this sort of title, but it probably won't get it if people don't be buying it, which is why I'm here to tell y'all about it tonight. As always, we rate our games on a play it now, wait for sale, put that bad boy in Game Pass, deep sale, or a hard pass. As a lover of TTRPGs, board games, and video games, this is a fucking play it now, man. This is a knock out of the park for me. And that is an incredible say, given the fact that a month ago I was playing Monster Hunter Wilds. I haven't played Monster Hunter Wilds since this game came out.
Yep.
I've been playing Sunderfolk. I have 3 different fucking campaigns going right now. It's the tits.
All right, man. Fuck yeah, dude. That sounds fun. I'm definitely interested. I think that this is something I can probably talk Marilyn into getting for us to play with the family here.
Dude, and you want to know what's awesome? Because you have a PlayStation 5 and I have a PlayStation 5 and your PlayStation 5 is attached to your PC. Mm-hmm. I can game share to your PlayStation 5, which will screen to your computer screen, and we can play together. That's the beautiful thing about this. Only one person needs to own the game. And I own it. Right. So as long as we're on the same console, or I have the ability to put it on Discord, you can join us. We've even gone so far as I streamed the gameplay to Geo in Game Share, and then he streamed my Game Share on Discord. And we just remote play chained that, baby.
Do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah, to make it work and to get a third person in there. So like, just know that like, if you're willing to put in a little bit of work to get your friends in, like, you're gonna have a good time. I highly encourage getting together for a game night if you can. It was a fantastic experience with me and my friends, but it is a beautiful game, even remote play, and I cannot wait to play it more.
Sweet, man. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah. Well, without further ado, we're just going to roll right into it. To the meat and taters.
The meat and taters.
To the end game. We're heading right into it. Into the end game, folks.
Genitals.
The end, yeah, into the procedural genitals.
Procedural genitals.
And the end game. Procedural genitals.
It never...
Wow.
It never gets old, dude. It never gets old. Your slip ups are fucking great, dude.
Dude, my slip ups are pretty goddamn good. I will say, they're generally at least funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's money, brother. What's up?
we are getting into our second review of the night,
That's right.
but this one is going to be a little bit more in depth, if you will.
It will, yes. And before I kind of kick things off here, Garrick, this is also going to kind of be a review in progress as well. I have not completely run credits on this game. However, I have played enough to feel that I have an opinion on the game. Because I'm about 23 hours in. And I've gotten...
Yeah, you're closing on the... I've heard it's like a 30-hour campaign.
Like 30 to 40, depending on like how thorough you're being. Mm-hmm. And that feels about right. So I do feel like I've got a good place to be. But for everyone at home, ladies, gentlemen, ladies, and thents, tonight I am reviewing Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is a game that is coming from the brand new Sandfall Interactive, which is a development studio that comes and is made of ex-Ubisoft developers. And specifically, the head of this studio, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he specifically went after this game because of a deep love for games like Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger, and felt that the current gaming landscape does not really have a whole lot of turn-based type games. So he was shooting for the skies here.
Not that stand out, right?
Not any of that stand out, right? Because we have a whole lot of JRPGs that are the pretty like routine anime
formulaic
game.
Yeah, they're very formulaic titles.
Right. And what we have here now is this really kind of cool like Western take on a JRPG that is turn-based. And with that said, before we kind of go into like mechanics and stuff like that to kind of fill you people in, as well as you, Garrick, on what the overall premise of this game is. So this world is a sort of French Gothic, like Belle Opaque setting where we are on an isolated island that is called Lumiere. And Lumiere is just a little island in the middle of like this vast sea that's sort of directly close to a giant continent. And what happened is one day, out of nowhere, a goddess appeared out of seemingly nowhere with no explanation and had in front of a giant obelisk painted the number 99. And everyone who was 99 years or older disappeared into rose petals and dust and vanished completely. And what happens is that this event that happens every single year, called the Gommage, in which the goddess known as the Paintress returns to write a new number on her obelisk, counting downward from 99. Every single year, the people that are of that age or older snap into rose petals and dust off into nowhere. And along with the Gommage, the event that this happens with, Lumiere decides to set up a group of people, of volunteers, every single year that want to go after the Paintress and attempt to try to stop her. And they've worked their way backwards from 100 all the way down to now, being after 67 years, the 33rd Expedition 33 is what they call it, where they now have had their people that are of 33 years old or younger going now to adventure towards trying to defeat the Paintress.
So if you're 33 years old in this game world, you're like the oldest people alive?
Yes.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And so what we have now is our main character, Gustav, who is a sort of like Lumiere's single sort of like main engineer for the entirety of that town, that civilization that's left. His girlfriend, Sophie, was 34. And
there's our motivation.
Yes, and she has now just been officially snapped. Actually, no, sorry, she was 33. Gustav is 32. So she got snapped away. She's dusted. She's gone. And now Gustav, who has volunteered to be a part of Expedition 33, is now the captain of the expedition to go out and try to stop the Paintress. And joining him are for our main characters is his adopted sister, Mael, who was 16 years old. A fellow scholar, if you will, a woman named Lune, who is sort of like the mage archetype, and a woman named Ciel, who is this super dope fucking warrior chick that tags along with it. And what happens is after they're leaving for their expedition, and the day after the Gomage happens, they land on the continent, and as they're all leaving their ship on this new continent, because their ship has crashed, they wash up on the shores of a dark, sort of ominous beach, in which through the thick of the fog on this beach, they look forward to find a 50-year-old, somewhat middle-aged man walking up to them, wearing what looks like expeditioner's uniform wear. And with him are a horde of monsters that slaughter everybody. And Gustav wakes up from the midst of this, thinking he is the last of the Expedition 33 alive, and is now trying to find Mael, and runs into Lune in the process, and now they're on their journey to go find Mael, and that is sort of like the opening section of the game. And then you kind of stumble across more and more of the expedition that is still alive, and the story continues on from there. And you are sort of doing the classic JRPG, adventuring out into this unknown territory, this unknown world, and going from town to town to town and area to area to area, both in a sort of on railroad sort of thing, sort of like God of War-esque, a la 2018, not original God of War, sure. And having an open overworld as well, in which you can sort of like explore. And later on in the game, you get access to a character named Esquier, who is this mythical hot air balloon man. So he is effectively a giant hot air balloon like puppet with a mask, and he is your effective aircraft for the game. So he carries your characters around the world map, and you get to fly around with him. And like the really
that's some definite JRPG shit.
It's some JRPG shit, dude. Like, and
they're like the most unexpected form of like mode of transportation ever.
And there is some really, really cool sort of like JRPG level like goofy stuff in this. Me and Xander were talking last night prior to recording Shipwreck Show about this one specific section where you run into these creatures called Gestrels, and everyone from Lumiere had thought that Gestrels were just like a mythical creature, and until they run into one. And this little guy, Gestrels are, you know, like the wooden mannequin dudes that you like move to like positions and then you like draw them for like outlining.
Oh yeah, like, you draw them
like that.
Yeah,
they are little itty bitty dudes that are made of like wooden mannequin figurines with paintbrushes on top of their heads and like wooden planks nailed to their face, so you can't like see what their face looks like. And they come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and but they're all like wooden mannequin people with like paintbrush heads and like wooden planks like stapled to their fucking face. And they are a little like race of people that have this one little small village left, and they are both stupid and obsessed with fighting. And so you are like sort of discovering this like new race that was like supposedly this like super like folklore tale thing, and then when you meet them you find out they're just dumb. They're just incredibly dumb, and you like go through this entire village of meeting a whole bunch of them, and when you first meet the initial one, their premise is kind of like, we need to get to the Paintress still, and our ship is destroyed. We can't use the ship anymore. Can you help us? And this little Gestrel, and the best part is they speak French. They don't speak English. And so these townsfolk from Loubière, who thankfully also speak French as well as English, can understand what the Gestrels are saying. But this Gestrel guy says, yeah, I can lead you to our chef. And they're like, your chef? And he's like, yeah, the leader of our village. And they were like, you mean your chief? And he's like, no, our chef. And come on. And then like you go and like meet their, and even like the leader of the group calls himself the chief. They don't call themselves a chef, but this one little guy fucked that up so bad that he just kept calling him the chef.
just with this whole chest, he was like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's our chef. I'll meet you to our chef, dude. And it's just it's this game has such a level of just charm and fun and whimsy that I think is like super interesting from a game that like we don't really see a lot of like sort of like French Gothic settings in video games these days. I think the last one really we got was Lies of P. And that was like kind of, right? Like it was sort of like teetering that line.
It teetered on the Gothic, right? Like it definitely played with a little bit brighter art style overall.
Yeah.
And like didn't quite commit to it in some bits, but like it was more French steampunk.
Right. And I think that like I have an appreciation for this this sort of like world and this the way that it looks aesthetically because of some like the character art that they have. It's a really interesting world, and it's an interesting story that I think has really captivated me a lot over the course of this game. Now, because the story I've kind of filled in on, the gameplay mechanics of this game are what people are sort of ranting and raving about currently. Because even though this is a turn-based combat, which is like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Persona, like there's tons of games that are like turn-based games, right? This one has an additive effect in a few different ways. So there's a dodge, parry, and jump mechanic in this game where even though it is turn-based, when an enemy attacks you, you have a window in which you can successfully dodge the attack with a button push. You can successfully parry attack with a button push, which is a smaller window than the dodge. And then you have a jump attack, which is specific for sweeping low attacks. And all three of those, well, actually, excuse me, two of those offer you an opportunity to counterattack if successful when doing it. So if you do the parry and you hit the window just right, and you parry every single hit in succession that the enemy is giving you in that one round, you will effectively do a counterattack that takes away a huge chunk of their health, and that sort of makes it this sort of like high risk, high reward situation. If you dodge, you don't get anything out of that besides just not having your character get damaged. If you jump, if you time the jump correctly, there will be a reticle that pops up that allows you to hit R2, and you can do an effective counterattack with your entire party at once. And that will also sort of like knock out a big chunk too. Not as big as the parry will, but it's still
sure.
there.
Yeah, the parry would be like the biggest like risk reward. I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. And I think the sort of extra details that they've added here is that each character kind of has their own functionality. Gustav, for example, has what's called arm charges, where every single time he attacks normally, it gains one arm charge. Gustav has a sort of mechanical left arm that can build up power for him to be able to do an overcharge attack. And after you get 10 successful hits with Gustav, his overcharge meter is filled up and maxed out. That allows you to use an overcharge ability, and it is stronger for how many charges you have built up there. And that's just Gustav. There is Mael, who Mael, depending on what sort of attack or skill move you use, will change her stance in battle. And her stance will determine whether or not she puts out more damage but takes more damage, puts out less damage but takes less damage, or puts out a whole bunch of damage, but after she uses it, she's out of that stance entirely. And so there's this sort of like mechanic with her where you're sort of ebbing and flowing to kind of figure out what your next step is going to be. So it kind of starts to feel like a chess game with her character. And then there's Lune, who every single spell that she casts, she gets what's called a tint, which is like if she casts an earth spell, she gets an earth tint, and a water spell, she gets a water tint. And you have a like her weapon has like slots for 4 tints total, and if you fill up all 4 tints with spells, or if you cast enough spells to fill up all 4 sections to get 4 tints, her next move is more powerful, right? Depending on what the spell is going to be, and each one of those spells consumes 1 tint and adds a different one. So you're also sort of switching that around. Yes, Garrick.
Hi, Garrick B. Eden, Good Kraken podcast. Deaf guy question.
Yes, sir.
Tent or tint?
Tint, like color tint. Okay. So what you'll notice, and I hope other people understand this too, is that this entire world uses a lot of art phrasing. So there's like the paintress, lumiere is a phrase used for lighting on an art piece. The gestrels, that is an art name because it's like the shape of a form or something. They're made out of paintbrushes and like drawing mannequins. The tint of things, like the different, the name of the different stances she has. It's all like art relative.
It has a focus.
Yes, yeah. And it's
the game has a theme.
Yes, exactly. And the theme is art in this world that lacks it, because this world is so fucked up from this like crazy event that now happens every single year, and all these people that they love now being gone. The very beginning of the game is very dreary, because you start this game off in the morning of that year's Gommage. So they're pretty much like, they have an entire town-wide sort of festival thing that says, all right, today is the day the paintress is going to paint a new number. We have to prepare to send off our loved ones because we know they're about to disappear, right? Like here, like at 3 o'clock, I have until 3 o'clock with you today before you're basically gone forever. Yeah, you're effectively having a town-wide funeral for X amount of people you know are going to die. Right. And that's what the entire game starts there. Right. So these people can't focus on things like art and love and care. And one of the sort of like main components of like the main character relationship between Gustav and his love interest, Sophie, who at the very beginning of the game gets snapped away. Right. Is that they talk about how Sophie wanted kids, or no, Gustav wanted kids, but Sophie did not, because she didn't feel it would be responsible to have a child in this world in which her child is like pretty much guaranteed to be disappearing in another 30 years. Right. And so they actually split up. And
probably be raised without parents.
Yeah, exactly. And there's actually a character you run into in this sort of like town square that says, she's like talking shit about like another character, and she's like, why are you worried about this? Like, this is the last day with your daughter. And her like little toddler is standing next to her, and she's like, no, you're right, I'm sorry, I'm just angry because I know that I'm going to be gone. Right. And so like there's this entire like world that they've shaped around this terrible fucking thing that happens in this world. And it really sort of like makes you committed to each of the individual characters, like reasons for being there. And like the thing is too, is that there's mechanics in the game that actively, that you can actively miss out on if you're not being aware of it. So one of the things, and this is a suggestion for anybody at home that's playing this game or wants to play this game, whenever you're in the open world, you have an option of camping. And I highly suggest that everybody, including you, Garrick, if you ever pick up this game, take the option to camp every single time you're in a new area. Because what happens is every time you make a camp with your team, you have an option to check on the other characters. And it allows new story moments to happen between the characters and a new cutscene to sort of further explain each character's sort of emphasis and personality and their reasons for being there and their backstories. And eventually, if you do it enough times, you unlock a sort of like ultimate ability for individual characters by building up a relationship status with them. And you get an ultimate move called a gradient skill, which it's like this big, huge, powerful fucking move, right? And so it sort of like forces you to want to do that as well. But I mean, the story's good enough that it makes you want to do it, generally speaking. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about the gameplay mechanics on this because it's a turn-based role like RPG. Right. And I think most people that have played Final Fantasy, played things like that, will understand what like that means. Even with the additive information there, you get what a turn-based
Speaking of those
is.
additives, I've heard that you can turn the additives off.
Yes and no. So there is an option in the game that allows you to turn off when you attack with a skill, not a basic attack. A basic attack just goes on its own. But when you use a skill, they have a QTE, which is a quick time event for anybody that doesn't know. A QTE moment where you have to tap buttons in a certain time pattern. And it's almost always X. I have yet to run into it being a different button, but it's always X on the PlayStation controller. You have to hit the button in a certain time succession in order for your moves to become more powerful or less powerful, depending on how successful your button pushing was. The game allows you to turn that off. It unfortunately does not turn off the dodge or parry. That is, and honestly, I do feel a little bit weird about that. I unlike someone that would have been here otherwise, have some grievances with this game. It's not a lot. I do thoroughly love this game, but the things that I am iffy about, one is that the accessibility seems to be something that is effectively lacking in this game, mostly because, as you and I have talked about a lot in the past, having accessibility or like ADA availability to play a game, handicapped availability to play a game is very important to us, especially being people that are, defective hearing or loss of hearing, or even people that are deaf or people that are blind or people that don't have use of their limbs. Like, there's all sorts of different people that play video games. And
yeah, man, you know how often I turn on audio cues and like subtitles?
Exactly.
Because like my hearing's shit, but my vision's also shit. So like I just want all the information I can possibly get the game's gonna give me to be successful. Like, I need the subtitles, I need the audio cues, I want the little aura on the collectible items, fucking please.
Yeah.
Like I need that shit to be able to like sometimes interact with the goddamn game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm this close to
the
screen to like, you'll fucking like. I know you guys have fucking seen me when we play D&D and shit, dude. I'm fucking measuring my squares.
Yeah, I know, dude. No, for real. And I feel that this game lacks a little bit in the ADA department. Having this game sort of force you to have to wheel and deal with this parry, dodge, jump system seems to me like they're locking out a group of people in ways that like even Souls-like games don't do, right? Because at least then there's like an easy mode. But what I'm hearing from a lot of people in different forums and different discussions and different comment chains and stuff is that even on story mode in this game, you can and will get pummeled by some specific enemies. Not even just the secret bosses that are littered throughout the game, but there are some enemies that will beat your ass.
Stuff that'll beat if you're not playing to the mechanics of the title.
Right. Now, granted, I know that I understand that like the dodge mechanic is sort of the simplest way to sort of evade around a lot of this stuff, but even that is like time sensitive. Like, you have to be like hitting dodge within this window of I'm about to get hit and I just right after getting hit in order for it to be a successful dodge, right? And so if you don't do that, there's enemies that are putting out like 600 fucking damage in one hit, or will put out like 800 damage over a succession of hits that if you don't dodge those correctly, you're just gonna get your ass fucking beat. So it kind of feels a little like, man, I wish you guys would have fixed that up. Because here's the deal, Gary, and we talked about this before, right? Handicapped gaming is a necessity. Not just for people that are handicapped, that are ADA, but for people like us, even.
Like for people who just want ease of access in their video games, because at the end of the day, a title is meant to be enjoyable and fun.
Well, because this, right? Like, let's say you break your fucking arm, right? And you now can't play your games right because you broke your fucking arm, okay? Well, yep. Handicapped gaming, able gaming, ADA gaming allows you to make adjustments to the game in order for you to continue playing and enjoy the games that you want to enjoy, regardless of the fact that you got hurt and now you can't play games for fucking 6 months, right? And this is one of those things where I'm like, oh, it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, right? But outside of that, I have a little bit of a weird caveat with the character art in this game. And that might be a hot take for some people. There's a lot of people that are like, this game is gorgeous. This game is beautiful. And I agree. This game is beautiful. It is gorgeous. The skyboxes are fucking intense, dude. They're super fucking sick looking. The environmental art, dope. The creature monster art, super fucking sick. But every single character in this game has an awkwardly large head. And the character animations don't...
Wait, do they really?
Like, just ever so slightly. And they have it because, like, and here's the deal, right? The main character, Gustav, I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but I think they modeled him after Robert Pattinson. And Robert Pattinson kind of naturally has a little bit bigger of a head. And everyone in this game kind of has a Robert Pattinson size head comparative to their body. Like they're all their heads just like a little bit big, but also their facial expressions and stuff, like they're emoting, but like it feels uncanny valley. Like it like I'm so like coming off of Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, where those characters are super animated and their emotions make sense for like what the character's saying, what they're feeling, and what's happening in this moment. And the characters in this game, I don't feel do that as well. I also feel that the characters in this game don't have, and you heard me ranting about this the other night, don't have anything special about them to make them like household characters. Right? Like Gustav has
nothing
like
iconic. There's nothing iconic about them.
Yes, right. Because like even like Gustav has like this metal arm, right? But everything else about him is just like dude from Portland, right? Like he just looks like a French guy.
I do understand what you're saying there though, because like if you think about certain characters and like what makes them prominent, sometimes it's the character itself that makes them prominent, right? Like even if you haven't played, like I guarantee you there's a fuck ton of individuals that have never ever played a goddamn Pac-Man game, but everybody fucking knows who Pac-Man is.
Right.
Everybody knows that character. Everybody knows who Mario is. If you fucking touch the console, you probably have an idea of who Kratos is, right? These characters lead to identifying themselves outside of their franchises. If you were to pick them up and put them somewhere else, you would still notice them from what they are from.
Yes, because there are physical attributes about them that put them apart from other characters, right? Like if I say Crash Bandicoot, you know immediately what Crash Bandicoot looks like, right? Like you said Kratos, we know exactly what Kratos looks like. As a matter of fact, we know how good Kratos looks because we could put a silhouette of him on a screen with nothing but the red line going down the middle of his body.
And you wouldn't even have to do that. If you literally just showed me his silhouette and then just the silhouette just had enough with the blade, I'd literally be like Kratos. Literally, like I wouldn't even need that. You could show me a fuck with literally. You could show me Cloud Stripe bald, and as long as he had the Buster Sword, I would still know it was him.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And here's the deal: is that none of these characters have that. They don't have like the sauce. You know what I mean? Like Gustav looks like just a guy with like a robot arm. And it's not even like a cool android type robot arm with those like pipes and shit sticking out. It's just like
very functional. It's like a practical ass arm.
It like if
I'm looking at pictures of them right now.
If they didn't like say that is a mechanical arm that's been engineered, I would have assumed he's just wearing a really long like glove. Right, like just like a metal brace around his arm with a glove on it, right? Mayel just looks like a redheaded 16-year-old with blue eyes. Lune just looks like a chick who's like half Asian. You know what I mean? Like none of, and Lune, the only specific thing about her is she walks around with no shoes because she can hover. That's it. Nothing else special about her. The only thing that individualizes the characters really is the way their expedition uniforms physically look. Like Mael has like an undershirt that's purple, and Lune has like her uniform positioned in a way that looks a little bit more mage like it's a longer back, and then Ciel her like hers opens up a little bit more in the middle, and she has like a cool tattoo design that goes down the front of her chest or neck, right? But that's it. Like everything else, like they just look like people.
To play devil's advocate, though, I do believe. While I understand you as the player behind the controller want to feel a connection to your characters,
Yes,
right?
right?
I do believe that there is a place in gaming for the everyman's story, which may seem like.
Yeah.
Based off of what you've told me, the information I've received from this review, it seems like that may be what this is. Like, these guys aren't special. They're volunteers, right? So I think just maybe playing the devil's advocate on what you've told me about their character design and how they exist in context to the world and the character story, I think it could make sense. But I can also understand when you put it into the grandiose, like,
right.
picture of it all, right? The fact that it's fantastical, it lacks that fantastical element in one of the like the aspects of the game you would expect it to have to be fantastical, which is like your protagonist, right? You expect your protagonist to have protagonist energy,
right? I want my main characters to have main character syndrome,
main character energy,
yeah.
And you don't feel like you're getting that out of this group and cast of characters,
literally.
So I would say just know that this is definitely an Ernell opinion, and this is a hotter take.
Me. Yes,
but I will play devil's advocate and say that, like, in context of the story, I think it might be okay. I will say the characters aren't super duper. Like, looking at pictures of them, they're not overly inspiring. Just looking from the outside looking in, they're not overly inspiring. But what about the voice cast, though? How do they deliver?
And that's where I was going to kind of end on a good note here, is that the story of this game is so good, I almost don't give a fuck about the complaints that I have. Because the story, has effectively sucked me in a way of, like, I can't stop thinking about this game. And not in the same way of like, oh my God, that game was so much fun. I want to keep playing it. It's like, I'm constantly like, fuck, what's that next part going to be? Like, how are we going to figure this out? Right. Like this next story beat is like super important. Like, who is this character? Who's this guy that they showed for a quick fucking second? Right. There's so much of this like story that is so creative and so artistically inspired that I just want more. And I keep wanting to play it. And I keep not having time to fucking play it, Garrick. And I'm telling you what, dude, that fucking sucks.
Busy.
Along
dude,
with your question, the voice acting in this is impeccable. It is so fucking good. For anyone at home that doesn't know, Gustav, our main character, is voice acted by Charlie Cox, aka Daredevil.
That alone is actually almost enough for me to get the game. I'm not even going to lie. I do not think, if I play this, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm going to play it on my Series S. I know it's available on Game Pass, but given that this is a very art-heavy game, I've seen what it looks like on Series S. If I pull the trigger on it, it'll be on my PlayStation.
Get on your PlayStation. And here's the best part too, Garrick. It's only a $50 game. It's only a $50 game.
God, that's weird. Like, we're both talking first studios, like brand new studios, first titles, and they have the same price point. I feel like that's a good starting point. $50 feels good.
It feels for a good game, man. For like a brand new IP, for brand new franchises from brand new studios, and they're showing that you can still have compelling, wonderful games at a decent price point that isn't going to break people's bank, right? Charlie Cox is amazing in this. And it's English Charlie Cox. He's not an American accent Charlie Cox. He's English Charlie Cox, right? And we also have a stellar cast outside of him, dude. There is
Andy Serkis, dude. Andy
Serkis is for what I understand right now, the main antagonist of the game is being played by Andy Serkis. Ben Starr plays as the character Verso, who you run into partway through the game. Kirsty Ryder is playing as Lune. Jennifer English, who plays Mael, the 16-year-old girl. She's incredible at that character. Shala Nix as CL fucking takes it home, dude. Like, this entire cast, even down to like the side characters, like the NPCs you just run into, like the big balloon guy that I mentioned to you, Esquier. He's voiced by Maxence Cazorla, I think is how you pronounce it. Fucking so whimsical, dude. He plays such a good whimsical character who's like constantly speaking in riddles and like sound like he voice acted in a way that made it sound like what a hot air balloon guy would sound like if he talked. Because like they join him, he's like, "Hello," like, and like that's like how his character talks.
He's playing a. I like character actors like that, where like they can see like the art and like the design of somebody and be like, I know who that person is.
And I think that like I said, like the characters feel alive when it comes to the voice acting. The character art, I have my caveats, I have my weirdness about, but all of it is fixed because the voice acting is so good. If I had a podcast, an audiobook of this, and I didn't have to see these characters, I would be so in it to win it, brother. I'll tell you what, dude. But no, like the voice acting supports this story in ways that I feel is a lost art in a lot of games these days. Like, voice acting is so important, especially in
so fucking hard.
narrative-driven games like this. You need good voice acting, and it is difficult. It's hard to find good voice actors, dude. I mean, like we have like the obvious like kings and queens of voice acting that we've seen of the Jennifer English is one of them. I know that Troy Baker, Nolan North, like Ashley, she's really good too. There's some really like pristine voice actors, but we're talking like of all the super well-known ones that we know are like the bread and butter for video games, it's like two handfuls, right? And that's why they keep getting hired. You know what I mean? That's why they keep bringing them back over and over and over again, because they're like so good at what they do at something that is so difficult to pull off. And I think that this game playing at the league it's playing in is strictly because the writing is so creative and it's effectively bolstered by how good the cast is in this game. With that said, Garrick, I think wholeheartedly that this game is gonna get Game of the Year next year. Like, you think this is gonna be it? This game, this winter, this December, when we hit Game Awards, this game is gonna be Game of the Year. I have this like gut feeling within me that says, yeah, this is it. This is the one, dude. Like this game hits all cylinders at such a beautiful way that like is unabashed, right? We've had some good games so far. We've had some great games so far. I don't think any of them so far as of May 1st, 2025, which is only 2 days away, that we have had a game that is playing at this caliber yet. And when I look at the calendar for the remainder of the year, we still have a few good games. I don't think they're holding up against this one, brother. I really don't. Because of such, Garrick, this is going to be a play it now for me. Play it right the fuck now. If you are a turn-based combat fan, absolutely. You should have been playing this fucking yesterday. You should have been playing it all fucking weekend if you're a turn-based video game fan. If you are not a turn-based like action RPG fan, there is still some space for you in this game because the story is not as JRPG as JRPG games can get sometimes. It's whimsical. It's got some crazy folklore and mythological creatures and stuff, but it's closer to the realm of how South of Midnight did it, and not so much as a la Final Fantasy does it, where it's like some crazy bombastic shit. But it also has some pretty crazy stuff in this too. There's some enemies that you fight that are like fucking 85 feet fucking tall. And there's one that's flying around in the center of the world map that if you fly up to it, it's a giant fucking paintbrush that looks like a giant dragon snake thing. And you have to fight it on a floating fucking cliff, dude. Like there's some Final Fantasy anime shit in this. But it's all grounded in a really cool Western world that I think welcomes more people to it than just turn-based JRPG fans will be. Garrick, it's a play it now for me, dog.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm not. This is definitely one of those ones where I'm personally not sure as to where I'm at. It has some things that interest me, but there's a lot that is not my personal flavor of when I choose to approach in games. Sure. So it'll probably sit on the list, and I think I'll probably, just given the nature of the gameplay overall, I'll probably personally wait till a sale. It is something I'm not completely disinterested in trying at this point, especially now after kind of hearing more about the story, like because the story sounds way more interesting than what I initially felt like I got from trailers. It being a turn-based game kind of steered me away from the trailers, so I wasn't necessarily keeping up on this super actively because I just knew that turn-based isn't my jam. But I'm glad that this is a great game. I mean, critically, it's doing really, really well. Yes, as well. Yeah. Like on Metacritic, it's got like a 92. So if you don't want to take our word for it, there's a lot of other people that agree. That's right. And so yeah, Ernell gave Clair Obscur Expedition 33 a play it now. That's right. And folks, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for us. We gave you 2 super solid game reviews tonight.
Okay,
lots of things that you guys could be thinking about and stuff looking forward to be playing in the future. They're both indie developers and independent developers that are working on making their first titles. They've got a lot of AAA experience, but just remember, AAA experience doesn't mean a AAA budget. And these games are making the most of what they have as new studios. And they're coming out the gates swinging with 2 really, really strong titles in Sunderfolk and Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
That's right, baby.
Folks,
that's right.
I'm not going to be telling you our schedule for this week because I literally we don't. Why bother? There's nothing live. You all fucking know what's happening. Y'all know when shit's happening. Like, if you want the release schedule, you want it? It's on our Discord, folks. Just go there. Just go there. I did the work for you already.
Tell him, Garrick.
I already put it there. It's there. It's in our weekly schedule thing, and I do it every week for y'all. Okay, like it's just right there. Just
right
go.
There. Just right there.
Go to Discord.
Use your eyes.
Be gone.
The great old ones grace
you
with 2. Just use them.
Right. Come on, we have content, and you can know if you just go to Discord, okay? Be part of the community. Yeah. Because this has been Good Kraken's Death Ratio, your source for all the video game, nerdy video game news, views, and discussions that you want to hear live each and every week. Yeah. If you liked what you've heard tonight, and gosh, I hope you did, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/GoodKrakenPods, where you can get exclusive content, discount on our merchandise, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services, wherever you like to watch and or listen, folks. You can also help us level up our game, though, by joining our GK community on our Discord channel, where our weekly schedule is, by clicking the link in our description section below, and then subscribing to our podcast channel by searching for Death Ratio and leaving a review there. We have to go, everyone, but until next time...
Procedural jokers.
Oh yeah, procedural genitals.